Joining us now in the studio is Sweetzer's training specialist, Steve Neske. Steve, thank you so much for joining us today, coming in today. Is there a resource for people on how to best identify mental health challenges?
Absolutely. Sweetzer has the benefit of having gotten a grant from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration to provide mental health training and awareness free of charge to the community through a model called Mental Health First Aid. Mental Health First Aid is like physical first aid, but for your thoughts and emotions. It helps people identify mental health challenges, signs and symptoms of mental health crises, how to approach and interact with someone that might be having a mental health challenge, and then how to get them to the professionals where they can get continued care.
When you're talking about signs and symptoms, what are they?
Right, so signs and symptoms would be different depending on the different disorder that you're looking at. So signs and symptoms for depression might look different than signs and symptoms from anxiety. So this program covers all the different types of major mental health challenges and those signs and symptoms to look for.
That's an interesting point. So, for those on the front lines, like first responders, in this most recent event that's in Lewiston, how can we help them with their own mental health, as well as maybe getting others through really difficult situations?
Yeah. So training for first responders is absolutely crucial. They deal with trauma every single day, and that trauma has a real additive effect and challenge on their mental health. So going through a training like this can actually help them help others, but it can also help them self-identify areas where they might be struggling. And it's also a great training for friends and family members of first responders to know what kinds of things to look out for in their loved ones and help them to be able to function to the best of their capacity.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the differences. So do you train people differently to look out for things based upon somebody's age?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's mental health training for youth, there's mental health training for adults, there's even mental health training for older adults. There's a specific curriculum for first responders and for veterans, and even folks in higher education, because they have different needs than folks maybe in a regular community setting.
Talk about how people can sign up and what the commitment is in terms of training.
Yeah, absolutely. So they can go to the Sweetzer.org website. There's a little tab that says Training Institute. If they click on that, they can see the trainings that we have available and sign up that way. They could also send us an email. They can send it to training@Sweetzer.org, and we can help them out like that. Or if they're part of any kind of organization, whether it's fire department, police station, nonprofit, community group, a school, we can come to them and we can set up training specific to their organization to meet their specific needs.
All right, well, just last question for you really quickly. Who is this good for? Everyone?
Absolutely, yeah. Everyone. Okay. Everyone can benefit from being able, because you never know when you might encounter someone that has a mental health challenge. And so it's just a great training for community-wide.
All right. Sweetzer's training specialist, Steve Neske, thank you so much for joining us. Some good information to get out there. We appreciate it.